Good morning, everybody. KT here with Wise Images Photography, and today we are going to go out and enjoy the beautiful Silver Springs State Park and also the Silver River. I really like this river. I normally end up out there at least one time a year minimum, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys a little bit about the history of the park, and I'm also going to go ahead and share with you what are you going to see when you guys go out there. If you stick around to the end, I will let you know how Silver Springs played a part in photography history. So let's get going. This park is one of the oldest attractions here in Florida. It was the first one to open up in 1878. It is known for the world famous glass bottom boats. All right, so the park was originally privately owned, and then in 2013 the state took it over. Now there's three different names that I'm going to name here, and I wrote them all down because I tend to intermingle them all, because when I was a little girl I used to go to the nature theme park because I remember having slides and stuff like that. So that goes to date how long or how maybe possibly mature I am. So I'm gonna go ahead and read off what the names of the park was and how it became merged. So basically it was originally the Silver Springs Nature Theme Park, and then it merged with Silver River State Park. And then it became what we now know it as Silver Springs State Park. And Silver Springs State Park is where the Silver River lies. The park is about 4,000 acres in size, and that basically includes the two parks with the Silver River. Now, the side off of 35, that's the campground area. And I have camped there before, and it was really raining a lot the time that I went over and I explored that side. But you are going to definitely find lots of different trails to walk on. They have an awesome museum that you have to check out. It has so many historical artifacts over there. They also have an old Cracker Village like replica from the 1890s that you're going to want to check out. Like I said, it was raining, so I really was not able to take any pictures, but it is definitely something that's worth checking out. The entrance off of 40 is where you're going to find your glass bottom boats. Now they have walking trails in this area. They also have great informational boards that tell you about the park, and they also tell you about some of the cool movies that they've done there. They've done like James Bond, Creature of the Black Lagoon, and they did a television series called Sea Hunt starring Lloyd Bridges. And there's just like every little board you stop at, there's like really great informational facts there. You can bring your dog to the park, and you can bring your dog to both sides. You just have to have them on a leash. Really the only rule is that obviously you pick up after your dogs, but you're not allowed to bring the dogs on the boats or inside of the building. So just keep that in mind when you go. So if you want to go on the boats, you're gonna have to leave the dog at home. So that way you can go on them. I haven't gone on the boats in a while now that I think about it, but it's because I normally have Bo with me. And then I also have my own boat that I go up the river with as well. So this location has been a hot spot since pretty much the beginning of time because of how beautiful it is. People actually used to come by steamboat to visit this location. And then the first glass bottom boat was made from attaching a piece of glass to a rowboat by Philip Morale and Hullum Jones. This original idea was taken to a further level by Colonel Davison and Ray Carl. And what they did was they created a glass bottom boat that was gas powered. And this was done in the 1920s. And as time progressed, you know, in the 50s, they started making, you know, more adjustments and changes to the park and whatnot. And then in the 70s, the park kind of took a hit because then you had other amusement parks coming in, like you had Walt Disney World, you had SeaWorld coming in, you had other parks coming in. So there was definitely starting to see that decline in how many people were coming to the location. The other thing that was starting to happen is you were starting to notice all the effects of everybody coming there and pollutants starting to come into the springs, as well as brown algae was starting to grow and settle into the area. And they are making lots of efforts to go ahead and preserve this fantastic first magnitude spring. Now, I've been reading a little bit about the Rodman Dam, which is further up on the Ocklawaha River, and how it has impacted the Ocklawaha River, how it has impacted the Silver Springs, I was about to say Silver Springs River, the Silver River. And it's been a really interesting read to find out more. And you know, maybe if I find out more, I might share a little bit more about some of my findings or whatnot, but I'm just starting to dive into that particular topic. And seeing how it has affected the Silver River in regards to the types of fish that can get there, whether or not manatees can get there or not. Now, manatees have managed to get there, but with the dam being there, it's really hard for the manatees to get to the Silver River because they do have to go through like a lot of concrete to be able to get to the Silver River. But we probably would have more manatees there if that dam was not there. And also too, we would have other fish and wildlife that would probably be at the Silver River, but I digress. It's interesting to find out how intertwined and how some things that we change and some things that we do make a huge difference and a huge impact on the wildlife around us. So anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and keep on going here. Now, when you're walking on the side with the boat, they have lots of different trails. You can walk right along the side of the river. If you have your dogs, please make sure that you keep your dogs on the sidewalk. I would not suggest walking up to the water's edge with your dog, because then the alligators smell that scent and that can be a dangerous situation for you and your pup. So I always suggest keeping your animal away from the edge just for safety reasons. The day before I went to Springfest, they actually had a deer had been hit and made its way to the water's edge, and an alligator was eating on the deer. So remember that you are in a wild setting. Now, also on this in this area, they have this huge building, and I don't remember what the name of the building was called, but apparently that's where they used to have all these wonderful dances and parties back in the day. Now, in the northwest side of the park, they do have a 0.9 mile of hike for you to go on. It's very shaded on that particular trail. That's where I saw a turkey. I was hearing lots of different birds. You kind of had to stop and pay attention, and then you could find the smaller birds. They also had a restroom out in that particular area. And then on the southeast side of the park, that's where you're going to find a kayak launching ramp. That's also where there's a small area in there that you can go ahead and kayak around, and no motorboats are allowed in that particular area. When I go over to the Silver River and I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and take my boat to the river, I launch over at, oh, I have some birds coming. Maybe they'll come and shot. No, yes, no. Oh no, they went too far. They went way up there. Okay, I got distracted. Two snowy egrets. All right, so when I go on the Silver River and I take my own boat, I go ahead and I launch over at Wayside Way Park. And there is a fee to go. I forgot how much it was because I went the other day, and when I went, they had raised the price. I wasn't quite prepared for that. So maybe you might want to bring some 5s and some 1s, and maybe bring a 10. And then hope for the best when you get over there. Needless to say, they do have restrooms over there. So they have 2 boat ramps that you can go ahead and use, and there's plenty of area to go ahead and maneuver your boats around and whatnot. Now, when you get in the water and you start going down the waterway, when it T-bones into the Silver River, if you go to your right or the west, that will take you up to the spring head. Now, if you go to your left or east, it's going to go ahead and take you over to the Ocklawaha River. And if you go that way, it's really cool because you actually see where the Silver River and the Ocklawaha River actually collide. And the Ocklawaha River has lots of tannins in it, so it's very brown, so it's a very dark river. And the Silver River is very clear, and it's like this gorgeous blue. And so it's really cool how you can see the 2 rivers go ahead and meet up. Now, long time ago, about a century ago, a boat captain decided that he was going to spruce up Silver River, and he decided to bring these monkeys called rhesus macaques. And these monkeys are, unfortunately, they are an invasive species. So they're not native to Florida, but they have continued to be here for a very long time. Unfortunately, they have tested positive for herpes B virus, so make sure that you do not feed them. In general, you do not want to feed wildlife anyways because it is illegal, and it also makes the animal not be afraid. And there goes a great blue heron. It makes the animal not afraid of humans, and that's not what we want. We want animals to, you know, go away and not come towards us, all right? So that is it with that. And up here comes, oh man, guys, I don't know if you guys can see that. Did you see it? Nope, I don't think you can. There went an osprey. All right, I guess it's about time for everybody to start eating. All right. As many times as I've been on this river, I have never seen the monkeys. Some of the other things that you're gonna see while you're out there are going to be turtles, alligators, and a real variety of different birds. So let's go ahead and take a moment and check them out. If you guys think that this would be a great place to go ahead and visit, make sure you guys give me that thumbs up. I want to say thank you so much for tuning in today. I greatly appreciate it. I hope that you found this information useful, and maybe this might be a place that you want to stop and go hang out at, and maybe it will give you some ideas of a place that you want to go visit and take pictures at. I let you all know that if you stuck around to the end, that I would share with you how Silver Spring State Park actually played a huge part in our photography history. You see, there is a gentleman by the name of Bruce Mozart, and he is one of the very first underwater photographers. Now, there was other instances with underwater photography and whatnot, but he really put Silver Springs on the map because of his underwater photography. And he would do these scenes of above ground activities done underwater. So he had these pinups in the 50s of, you know, women talking on the telephone or maybe playing golf and a lot of other different scenes and whatnot. One of his interviews before he passed away with the Star Banner in 2013, he talked about his idea and how he came up with deciding to do photography underwater. And let me go ahead and read you guys a quote. He said, "I saw that crystal clear water, and that's how I got into my underwater work. I went out in the backyard of Silver Springs one morning after I had made the camera case, and I found an old inner tube. That was back when they were made out of real rubber. I fitted it on my arm, and my arm fit tight. I attached it to the housing, and took it down in the water. Johnny Weissmuller was there." That's the star of Tarzan, by the way. "They all laughed at me, but all 12 pictures came out clear. They ended up sending them to Hollywood." Now, how awesome is that? I think it is just a reminder of how we need to definitely chase our dreams. Everybody laughed at him, and he still went for it. And look at where it took him. He became one of the first pioneers for underwater photography, and he ended up staying in Silver Springs for 30 years and was their official photographer. How cool is that? Now, I know that we've been talking about Silver River today and Silver Springs State Park today, but if you are new to photography and you want to learn something about photography, go ahead and drop it in the comment section below. Let me know what you would like to learn about. I want to say you are awesome. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll see you later, alligator.